Good Kid 4 is the latest EP from Good Kid, and I am so stoked to have David from the band join us. Hello, hello. How are you?
Good, really good.
Appreciate the time, and I love the backdrop here. You guys are...
Yeah, that's actually our EP.
Yeah.
EP4.
Yeah.
You can't tell because they're turned off, but these are actually monitors. So the two amps during the show, eventually we sort of like hint at an animation coming across the screen when Jacob does kind of a solo. So they start to like slowly integrate with the set, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I like them, yeah.
Amazing. There's a lot to talk about with you, especially because you just talked about the animation and all the things. And then if people were to just do a quick bio on everybody, it's like, wow, you are so Silicon Valley, you're so Bay Area. And we're filming this in the Bay right now in San Francisco. I'm sure, have you been to like conferences here? Is it kind of weird to be,
Actually weird that you say that, because the first time we played a show was at a conference. It was in Vancouver, but it was at an AI conference because our lead singer Nick is really involved in AI. He has a startup in Canada, and we played to like 8,000 people. None of them who were interested at all. We were there, but it was technically the biggest thing we ever played was at a tech conference. And so a lot of us work in programming, so a lot of us come in and out of San Fran all the time. I believe Nick's offices are out here. Jacob has an office out here as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're all kind of like in the Bay Area and in Los Angeles as well.
Wow. So you're so familiar with the area as normal, regular tech workers.
Yeah, we fit right in. And then we go play shows at night.
Right, yeah. It's like literally, as some kids would say, the Hannah Montana reference, right? Where you're just like straight edge during the day. And
best of both worlds.
Wear the wigs at night and,
exactly.
and rocking out on stage. Has it always been like that for you and you guys? Like this left and right brained?
Yeah, always. Yeah, the whole time. We started out when we were in university. We were in university for computer science. I wasn't. I was the only one that wasn't, actually. I was in for English and film. But I knew Jacob, our other guitarist, through high school. We had played in another band before this one. We were good. We were okay. But then we met Michael and Nick all through school. So since the beginning, the band has been involved in tech in that way. They've sort of grown up through computer science. Some of them were TAs. Michael and Nick were excellent tutors at University of Toronto. And we've just always been growing in tech. But then alongside that, our music project that we've always loved, but we've never known what the potential of it was until the last 4 or 5 years or so, has also been growing alongside it. So it's this constant race between the two. And so it's finally, I will say it's finally getting to the point where some of us will have to make choices soon because we can't do both. I'm lucky, the company I work for is great with time off and allowing me to go tour and be on the road all the time, but it's tough. Like tech is tough and it's competitive, and you have to be performing at a really high level pretty much all the time. So I admire the work that my other bandmates are doing, because they are absolutely crushing it at their jobs, and they're also like, we're doing this music thing as well, like fully involved in it. And it's really like challenging but interesting trying to balance the two all the time.
See, when I run into artists like yourselves, and you in particular as well, I think of Ricky Gervais when he gives those speeches or is hosting those awards shows and telling the actors like they know nothing and just accept your award, right? You haven't even completed high school, right? Things like that. And it's like, this is like the total opposite, where it's, you've nurtured both sides, you have a passion for both sides. It's not like you had strict parents and were like, hey, engineer, doctor, lawyer, pick one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then go learn guitar and piano on the side.
Yeah. I used to be like, when I was younger dating, I was like a parent's worst nightmare because I was a musician and not an engineer at that point. Now I'm both, so it's gotten a bit easier over time.
Wait, so you were kind of the musician guy playing guitar under the apple tree and trying to write songs for girls or whoever?
Yeah, that was me, yeah. All the time, yeah.
How did that fare?
It was a rough start, but we got there eventually. It became a thing where like when you're in music, you're constantly trying to like convince people like you're like, no, we're actually like pretty good because you tell people like, oh, I'm in a band, and they're like, oh, great, who isn't? Like,
Right.
it's kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's in it. But I'm like, no, but like we're really in a band. Like it's like really like we're doing it.
Yeah.
And recently it's finally people being like, oh, you're like in a band. I'm like, yeah, yeah, we're like we're pretty good. Like we're growing. And yeah, that's been the same. My current my partner, her parents are super supportive and they love the music. They're big fans of what we do. So
So
it's a
your
good time.
Ryan profile would kill
Yeah, yeah,
if you
exactly.
were available,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Exactly.
But what's really curious is that your music has really resonated with kids who
Yeah,
were in the
yeah.
pandemic playing Fortnite. Man, it just totally hits hard with them.
Yeah, I mean it's cool for us too as like when we were kids, we grew up listening to music through video games. Like it's not the same as it is now, obviously, but at one point, growing up, I'd be playing Grand Theft Auto and there's music on the radio and all of these games. And like some of my favorite memories of playing those games was just literally driving around aimlessly, listening to the car radio as I'm playing Grand Theft Auto. Like it's just the music in the game. Same with FIFA and all the sports games I grew up playing that would have like a legitimate soundtrack to it. So when we got into Fortnite, that was that moment for us where we were like, wow, we're actually like we're in the ethos of video game music in a really cool way. Fortnite does it really interesting because unlike those other older games that had like this hard set playlist of music that would never change because it's on a CD, Fortnite just rotated music in and out because it was able to do that. And so we were able to get in there a couple times and like we went in and we played and found our song on the radio. At that point, we weren't trying to like win the game. We were just like
Right,
trying to
right.
stay alive as long as we could so we could hear the song. And we're trying to listen. At one point, I think it was witches and like people are shooting at us. We're like, please, no, like we're just trying to like chill.
It's so awesome that you've been able to introduce this style of music to a new generation that wasn't around for like I don't know, the aughts and the early tens.
Mhm.
Because a lot of your music is very reminiscent of that era.
Yeah, yeah, we play all ages shows at this point as much as we can to keep it so that anyone can come to the show, especially because a lot of us used to go to shows when we were younger. Jacob and I specifically in Toronto, we used to go to a lot of like punk shows growing up, and like we met a lot of these cool bands that were just putting on these all ages shows, so you could like just go experience concerts for the first time. For us, a lot of people that come to these shows, it's literally the first show they've ever been to. And that's a really cool experience. And, we also have like a VIP meet and greet, which is where a lot of people come to like express that to us and say like, this is
Right.
the first show I've ever been to. And we're like, wow, we got to do well tonight. If we suck, that's it. And then, yeah, we meet a bunch of our younger fans. They're so cool. A lot of the parents who come out too, they bring their kids. And I've had really like, not just like getting to play for these like young fans, but also like connecting with the parents too that come to the shows. A lot of people have talked to me during shows and said like, hey, this is my son's first show and thank you so much for coming out and like playing it here, like being at this gig. And
Right.
it's cool connecting with them because like, it's also cool because my parents didn't bring me to shows when I was when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah, I went to shows when I was younger, but like my parents are great. But
What kind of shows would they bring you to?
like I mean, there was, the shows I remember, there was like, Billy Talent and like all these like bigger shows. I actually brought my parents to Genesis recently. That was like a fun concert we went to. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a good time.
One of the songs that has been really resonating is Dance Class.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the new
yeah,
one.
yeah.
You guys made a video for it and everything. I didn't see the video. I knew you guys were going to release it. And I was expecting some kind of epiphany where all of you were going to be dancing and showing some
Yeah,
moves and things, but it's
yeah,
not. It's that you actually have some
yeah. It's
professionals.
Nick and Steph. They're San Francisco and LA natives, so they're going to be coming up and performing the song on stage. They do videos on like Instagram and TikTok, and one day they did a video for one of our songs, and it was so cool. And we reached out and we said we'd love to work with you on a project. Are you guys down for that? And they were immediately they're like, yes, we'd love to. And so they got started working on this music video, and I think one of the sort of band what's the word I'm looking for?
Initiatives.
Yeah, one of the mottos of our band is like
Okay.
let artists make art and not get in there. Like we don't want to get in their way. We don't want to have too much input. We don't want to be too granular. So we started off with like, here's an idea that we had for a music video. Can you guys make that a reality? And then we just sort of get out of their way and let them create what they want to create.
So you were never going to be involved dancing or anything.
Also, we're terrible dancers. It doesn't help that we can't dance.
So there's a strike on the Raya profile.
Yeah, can't dance. No, we were really happy with how it turned out, and Nick and Steph did an amazing job. And I'm so glad we didn't like intervene at all. We didn't like try to give too much input. It was just like let them cook, and they did. And it's one of my favorite things we put out.
Thanks so much for your time, and really enjoyed the music. Appreciate the chat. Best of luck with everything.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, it's David from Good Kid, right here on B-Sides.